I'm going to be talking about my evaluation for my dance choreography. My dance choreography was Smitten, performed by Nia Schofield. Okay, so one of the first questions is what went to plan? And what didn't go to plan. So something that didn't go to plan was right off the bat, we had a major costume malfunction. Our dancer, who was wearing braces which were attached to her trousers going over this nice shirt that she was wearing, the front half just pinged off. This was complications for getting in the way. She uses it in her dance when she goes like this. She pulls the dungarees forward and uses them for moves and movement, which were quite effective originally. I was scared that she would slip on them or like hurt herself by tripping on the little metal ends that can cause pain in the feet. So it was definitely something that I was worried about, and if I had more time I would have looked into more. However, during all the rehearsals that we had practiced with, we had never had any problems with them, so it was not something that I could focus on or really had any issues about. But on the day, it just happened. But it's something that you can't be helped. There's always a costume malfunction here and there, and it's overall we're quite lucky that nothing happened. The dancer just carried on dancing, which was really, really nice. Another thing that didn't go quite so planned was, not due to anyone's fault, was lighting. And this was just due to miscommunication. I'd only had a very brief conversation with the lighting person on the day. They had 50 million other choreographies to worry about, so I didn't think it was going to happen that anyway. But just as something that I would have liked on the Crash Bam Alakazams was big lighting changes of flashings and stuff, almost like an atom bomb hitting. This would have just been something nice. However, again, I was not too worried about it. Sure, it would have been more effective. However, the dance by itself worked really well and everything else went all to plan. The whole dance went to plan. The movement was all correct and in the right times. It all looked really effective. We got a nice big cheer from the audience. So as something I would say that I was quite worried about, it went phenomenally well, especially for me. I got to witness it from the sidelines. And as far as I could see, everything else went to plan, which was quite good. So things that I would have fixed was a move in about midway through, because I don't have the video, I can't quite put out the moments, but I'll put it down below and I'll put the movement there. Was there's a roll at one point. After she's down on the ground, she goes into a roll, which even in the rehearsals we'd had trouble with. I definitely would now, knowing, change that move into something that we could be more in time with the music. It was always something that the dancers struggled with, was just getting in time with it and then making sure she was in the right place at the right time. It didn't take too much away from the performance, but definitely if we had had more time, we'd have changed it into something a bit more flashy and effective and a bit more quicker and on the beat. Another one that I definitely would have changed is at one point she purposely falls in the thing and it kind of lays down like that. Again, I'll put the timings down below so you can see it. I thought originally it was a good idea. Now looking back at it, I definitely would have changed it as it really slows down the momentum. It just looks a bit odd. I would have changed it to something, again, a bit more flashy, or even if it was a down moment, just a slow little bit of a swaying movement or like a pose, but it was a bit more just on the floor, and sometimes you can even tell if it was meant to happen or not. But for future, now I know that that was something that I would definitely change. The other thing that I would have changed is the fact that I would have quite liked to have set. This was just due to budgeting, time reasons. There's other dancers on, but say if I did have the opportunity, I would definitely have loved a set. My set ideas was having a 1940s stylistic background of like a city in the background. However, coming out the city, the buildings were fine, just explosions, like an atom bomb has just hit it right in the middle, and then having one hanging with like a love heart on it, being an atom bomb of love. I thought that was a really nice and neat set idea that I think would have been really effective with the dance piece and overall would have made it a lot more punchy and better. right, what were the challenges of creating this piece? I'm not a dancer. The only times that I really dance is around my house and not very well, or at college. I've not had much dance experience in my life, and let alone any choreographing experience. So going into this was always a really massive challenge for me. I was always terrified of it. And it was just something that's really scary. I don't know how to choreograph. I don't know how to direct someone into choreographing. I don't know that many interesting or weird dance movements that really grips the audience. So in order to combat this, I watched loads of videos. I looked up different dance moves. I saw what could work where. And this was actually quite effective in the end, as it allowed me to use more complex movements. I also asked the dancer that I was with to create her own motif, which also allowed her to have her own inspirations, but also mine, which we could then put in the piece if we wanted to, which I thought was really effective. Another big challenge was definitely also, again, finding inspiration. I went through so many different inspirations because it just, I'd be, oh yeah, and I'd be really excited about it, and then getting into it, it just wouldn't work, or I wouldn't know what to do, or anything else like that. It was scary and I wouldn't know the movements, or I would be having to do it, or it would be a duet piece, but because someone was also doing another person's choreography, I would not have time to work with the other person, so I'd have to do a duet piece by myself. This was a really big challenge, and it was just finding all these different inspirations and then just testing them out, which also reduced time and everything. But then one day I just heard the song, which I had listened to a lot, and I loved the song. I just heard it and I went, whoa, I could do so much with this. And then, unlike all the others, ideas just flew into my head, and I was like, I could do this for here, and this for here, and this for there. My cat's trying to go across the screen, I'm very sorry. There you go. Apart from that, it was another big challenge. So going on from side that, because I'd spent so much time worrying about my inspiration and not knowing what to do, time is definitely against us. I picked one really last minute that I decided that I was going to stick with because I knew I'd be able to get it done. However, due to being in other people's dance choreographies and the dancer also being in other choreographies, it was sometimes hard to get hold of, or they wouldn't always be in my lessons, because we have different schedules, which was also another big challenge, and I wasn't always able to work with her. How to combat this, we made sure that we had a good schedule plan outside of school and college so that we could work on it and make sure that we knew what we were doing, so we'd have set times, and even if it was with all the other dancers and choreographers that I was in, we'd always make sure that we had half an hour at least to go get down and do the dance, and I would already have it all mapped out in my head on what we're doing, like the warm-up, what dance moves we need to know, anything else like that, such as if I knew there was work on something that we needed to do, we would focus on that and make sure that that was all done. Strengths throughout this piece, I would definitely say, is teamwork. I've always been a big fan of working with people, and I get along with people very well, and communicating with people has always been a very big strength of mine, so able to put down my idea to someone else I found quite easy. It was a strength of mine that I could just be like, right, this is what I want, this is how I want it, can you do this for me? And she would often be like, yeah, and do it perfectly first time. Originally I would do the moves with her as well, so that she knew that exactly what she was doing. This really helped, and I thought it was definitely another strength. Also finding the correct inspiration allowed me to have loads of motivation for this piece, something that I was originally dreading to now being excited for. I would often find myself willingly doing stuff and going home and choreographing everything, and it really was nice to really have that high motivation with this, especially with something, as I said, I was dreading, I was hating. I was like, how am I going to choreograph a dance piece and then show it to a bunch of people? But for the motivation to spring on me was really, really nice, and it was definitely a big strength. Overall with this piece, I was very happy with it. I would definitely say that there was stuff that I could work on, but I always knew that there would be a lot I could work on, not being an original dancer, such as choreographing it better, maybe making it a bit more interesting, extension, making sure that I'm giving the right direction to the people, and working on both my strengths but also her strengths and weaknesses, and making sure that she's comfortable with all the movement, which I also think was another big strength of mine, was making sure that she was comfortable, she knew the moves. I made sure that I knew all the movements so that she would be comfortable with it, and if she ever got scared or confused, I could just tell her what it was and work with her along it, instead of leaving her in the dark and be like, I don't know what the move is because you're the one dancing it. I made sure that I knew the movement and that I could tell her what she needed when. As I said, I'm very happy with how the dance came out. For someone who didn't think that there was going to be a very good dance and it was just kind of be meh, it actually turned out to be actually one of my favourite projects to work on, because I was so proud of the end result, because I'd come from being the scared little girl who was like worried about her dance being shown to people, to being really proud and really happy with it, and going, look, that's my dance, look, I choreographed that. It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling to definitely do. As I said, if I just had more time, more budget, set would have been really nice, lighting, but these aren't things that we can all sometimes help, which is absolutely fine. Apart from that, I think that's about it. I'm very proud of this piece. Thank you.